Hello, everyone. Today is your friendly neighborhood queer Christian, and today is the Friday word. So, we know that this is now a new year. We're in January 2025, and on January 20th, there will be a new administration that will be entering in, or by the administration part deux. And it's no secret, I am no fan. Amen. And so I really was like, God, what is it you really want me to say? What do you want to put in my spirit to say something? And God led me to Moses in the wilderness. And as you know, Moses was in the wilderness for 40 years. Amen. And the Israelites had just come out of Egypt. The Decalogues, or other people call it the 10 Commandments, had just been presented. And because things were not going the way that they wanted to go, they decided to rebel and go back to what they knew and understood. Amen. And I thought, well, there is nothing more appropriate than that at this moment. Amen. And particularly when you think of when Moses was in the wilderness in those 40 years, like in the wilderness, and if you use it as a metaphor, the wilderness is any space that is a sort of a difficult time, a difficult transition. Before they sort of went into the quote unquote promised land, amen, they had to spend 40 years. And in those 40 years, Moses, who understood what had happened, who understood that this wasn't the way it was supposed to go, right? Because if they wandered, they say, well, God punished them. But I mean, again, we have free will, right? They chose to go the path they chose, and it took them the much circuitous route. Amen. But in that time, Moses grew, right? His senses, his fleshiness sort of weathered away. His sort of impetuous nature, which caused him to kill the Egyptians, right? That temperament really he became much more patient. Amen. And so no matter as the Israelites came to him saying, like, we don't have this, we don't have that, where are our eggs? And those sort of things, where's our meat? Amen. Instead of sort of just reacting, he was able to deal with it, because over time in those 40 years, like a stone gets hit by water, he began to smooth him out. And even though he didn't make it over to that promised land, he grew as a leader. He grew in his understanding. So I think of, at this time, we're moving into a space where I believe will be our wilderness. Amen. And in that wilderness, what will be the choice? Right? I know the sort of sentiment has been like, I'm just going to sit back and drink my tea and not worry. Amen. And, in theory, that sounds really fun and stuff. And clearly I'm part of the 92%. I have my own. But the reality is that we're all part of one world. And unfortunately, just because other people make decisions, because of the Israelites who decided not to follow the Decalogues, Moses still had to be a part of it. Amen. And so in the same way, we still have to be a part of it. As much as we would like to think we don't, we do. And so we have to make a decision of how we're going to move forward. So will we grow in this time? Will we be like Moses and become stronger and more intelligent and to figure out how to maneuver at this time? Or will we be like the Israelites going around and around and around in circles? The choice is ours. Amen. But I do want to leave us with a Psalm 91 as a sort of a sense of protection, right? And I'm just reading it. I'm going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read part of it from the New International Version. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the foulest snail and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge, His faithfulness, and be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrows that fly by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 may fall at your right side, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you say, the Lord is my refuge, and you will take the Most High your dwelling, for no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. If we think particularly in terms of going back to Moses, in those times when things were happening, as people were going to the side and going to the left, because everyone didn't make it over, amen? But as people falling to the left and people falling to the right, and even though he didn't get to that land, he died right before. But that was not his purpose, right? His purpose was just to get them there. Amen. And as people fell to this left and people fell to the right, he stayed on task. When he needed, he called out. He said, God, I need water. I need this. And God responded. Amen. So I will not say that this time will be easy. I'm under no illusion of that. But I will say that still I am who I am. And as my brothers, Bruce and Glenn, my spiritual brothers, amen, my physical brothers, Bruce and Glenn said that this will be the time, that this is the time to rest in the Lord. I am who I am. And nothing comes before that. Amen. Okay, there will be no prayer chat tomorrow, but I hope you have a wonderful week. And if I don't see you in the next video, I hope to see you in the next one. Mwah. Bye.